Today, in this lecture, let us discuss about lipoprotein metabolisms. Before lectures, in first year we have discussed about what is lipoprotein and the compositions of lipoproteins and how they are classified and different types of lipoproteins. Now, let us discuss the lipoprotein metabolism with respect to the lipoprotein lipase enzymes. Now let us discuss lipoprotein metabolism. Before discussing about abnormalities in lipoproteinemia, lipoprotein metabolism is one of the most important topic to be discussed. Now, let us consider a diet which is taken into our gastrointestinal tract. Now, let us consider this is our gastrointestinal tract. Now, the food which we take consists of fats. Now that fat consists of triacylglycerols. It consists of triacylglycerols and it consists of cholesterol esters. These are triacylglycerols and these are triacetyl esters, and it consists of phospholipids and etc. These are the compositions of fat which we take through our diet. Now, these triacylglycerols, cholesterol esters and phospholipids will get digested or will get absorbed into the enterocytes. Let us consider this is one enterocyte. This is one of the enterocyte of gastrointestinal tract or intestine. In this, the triacylglycerols, cholesterol esters and phospholipids will get absorbed here. These are triacylglycerols, cholesterol esters and phospholipids will get digested here. Now, the digested phospholipids, cholesterol esters and triacylglycerols will get reassembled in the enterocytes. This is also enterocyte, and here again triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters and phospholipids will get reassembled here. Now, these reassembled phospholipids, triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters, these are water insoluble particles. These are water insoluble particles. So, these reassembled particles which are water insoluble has to transport into the blood vessels or circulatory system. So, these are water insoluble materials, so they cannot be entered easily into the bloodstream. So, as a result, there is a special pockets which are produced from the enterocytes of gastrointestinal tract. These special pockets are called phospholipids, which is the outermost layer. Let us consider this is the outermost layer which is produced from the enterocytes, which is called phospholipids. Example, this is one phospholipid. This is one phospholipid, and this circular part is polar part, which is water soluble, and this tail-like structure which is fatty acid is non-polar part. This is polar part and this is non-polar part. Now, this phospholipid consists of these types of layers. is outermost layer which is made up of phospholipids. These are phospholipids. Now this is the outermost layer, and inside these phospholipids it also consists of these triacyl, these are triacylglycerols, cholesterol esters and phospholipids or cholesterol. This will be accumulated inside this area. These are triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters and also cholesterol esters. The phospholipids, cholesterol esters and triacylglycerols will be accumulated here, and in between these phospholipids there is one more structure that is called cholesterol. These red color structures are called cholesterols. These red color structures are called cholesterols. Now this entire structure is called lipoproteins, and this entire structure is called lipoproteins. Now this is the lipoprotein, in which apoprotein will be loaded on the outer side. Let us consider this is one apoprotein. These apoproteins are apoprotein B48 type. B48. These all are B48 proteins. Apoprotein B48. Now the lipoprotein, which is loaded with B48 positively charged and which is synthesized from the enterocytes of gastrointestinal tract, are called chylomicrons. This entire structure is called chylomicrons. These are called chylomicrons. Now once again, a lipoprotein which is loaded with B48 protein and which are synthesized from the gastrointestinal tract of enterocytes is called chylomicron. Now this chylomicron, in which the outermost layer, which is phospholipids, is water soluble and they can be easily entered into the circulatory system. In this way, it will be entered into circulatory system. Here it will be entered into circulatory system. And there is one more condition. Let us consider, in our diet there is excess amount of carbohydrates is taken. Now this excess amount of carbohydrates will show three functions. Let us consider 3 plates of rice is taken in case of diabetes patient. Case 1. Let us consider a patient, that is diabetic patient, taken 3 cups of rice. These 3 cups of rice has taken by diabetic patient. Now the first cup is used for the synthesis of energy. That is first cup. And the second cup, which is taken by the diabetic patient, is used for conversion of glucose into glycogen. Glucose will get converted into glycogen. And the third cup, which is remaining extra, will get converted into this glucose, will be accumulated as fatty acids in the adipose tissue. accumulation of fatty acid. Fatty acid accumulation. In this way, the glucose which is taken by the excess of glucose which is taken by the diabetic patient will show its effect. First cup is used for synthesis of energy, and second cup is conversion of glucose into glycogen, and third cup is conversion of this glucose into fatty acids which are stored in the adipose tissue. Now let us consider this same case. Consider this same case in which excess amount of sugar is taken. Now let us consider this is our liver, and in liver, first of all, the glucose will get converted into glucose 6-phosphate and will undergoes glycolysis process and results in formation of pyruvate. Glucose will get converted into glucose 6-phosphate and will undergoes glycolysis process and results in formation of pyruvate. Now the pyruvate which is formed can be converted into acetyl-CoA and can enter into the TCH or Krebs cycle, and it results in formation of malonyl-CoA. It results in formation of malonyl-CoA in case of excess of glucose molecules. Acetyl-CoA will get converted into malonyl-CoA. Now this malonyl-CoA which is present in liver will get converted into triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters. Now the triacylglycerols or cholesterol esters, in case of excess of sugar, will be synthesized in the liver. Now these triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters, again they have to transport into the bloodstream. So these are water insoluble particles, and ultimately there will be same process like phospholipids are synthesized. Phospholipids these phospholipids are synthesized and triacylglycerols are present and cholesterol esters are also present. Now here it is loaded with B48 protein, and here it is also loaded with special protein, that is B100 protein. B100 protein. Now this is B48 protein and this is B100 protein. Now the lipoprotein, in between there is a cholesterol. Now the lipoprotein which is synthesized by the liver because of excess amount of carbohydrates and which is loaded with B100 protein and synthesized from the liver is called very low density lipoproteins. It is also shortly called as VLDL. VLDL. Whereas chylomicrons are lipoproteins which are synthesized from the gastrointestinal tract and which is loaded with B48 protein. And lipoproteins which are synthesized from the liver and loaded with B100 proteins and which is synthesized from the liver is called very low density lipoproteins. Now these chylomicrons and very low density lipoproteins has to transport into the bloodstream, that is cardiovascular system. Now let us consider this is our bloodstream. Let us consider this is our bloodstream, that is cardiovascular system, and these two chylomicrons and very low lipodensity proteins will be entered into the bloodstream, that is very low density lipoproteins and chylomicrons. These two will be entered into the bloodstream, and there is a special type of a protein that is called lipoprotein lipase enzyme. Where is this lipoprotein lipase enzyme is present means, as bloodstream consists of endothelial cells, let us consider this is endothelial cells. Now these on the surface of endothelial cells, lipoprotein lipase enzyme is present. This is a lipoprotein lipase enzyme. Lipoprotein lipase enzyme is present on surface of endothelial cells. Now let us discuss how these lipoprotein enzymes are formed means. Now let us consider this is adipose tissue. Let us consider this is one adipose tissue. Now on surface of adipose tissue, in case of excessive amount of carbohydrates, on surface of this adipose tissue there is a special receptors for carbohydrates. There is a special receptors for carbohydrates through which the carbohydrates can be entered into this, and after whenever the carbohydrates are entered into this adipose tissue, now inside this adipose tissue there is a nucleus and there is a genetic material. This is a genetic material. Now whenever this excessive amount of carbohydrate, that is insulin, is produced, now this insulin will be acted on. Now before discussing that, this DNA will undergo transcription and translation process and will result in mRNA, formation of mRNA. Now the insulin which is produced or will be entered into the adipose tissue will stimulate this mRNA, will get stimulated this mRNA. Now this mRNA will undergo translation process. Now this translated mRNA will get converted into special type of protein. This is 5M and this is 3M. This special type of protein which is produced in the adipose tissue because of excess of insulin is called lipoprotein lipase, and the function of this lipoprotein lipase is it involves the lysis of lipids, breakdown of lipids. In this way the lipoproteins are synthesized in adipose tissue. Now let us consider VLDL and chylomicrons are entered into the bloodstream and how they are metabolized. Now these are phospholipids and which are loaded with B100 proteins. These are called very low density lipoproteins. Very low density lipoproteins. Now there is another lipoprotein, that is inside consists of triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters, and which is loaded with B48 protein. B48 protein. Now this is called very low density lipoproteins, and this loaded with B48 protein is called chylomicrons. These are chylomicrons. Now First, let us discuss about metabolism of very low density lipoproteins. Now, these very low lipodensity proteins which are entered into the bloodstream will be immature very low density lipoproteins. Now, and this lipoprotein lipase will be in inactive form. Whenever this liver and gastrointestinal tract will produce one special type of lipoprotein, that is high density lipoproteins. High density lipoproteins are synthesized from liver and gastrointestinal tract and will be sent into the bloodstream. They will be sent into the bloodstream. Now, from high density lipoproteins, they will donate the C2 protein and ApoE protein. It will donate C2 protein and ApoE protein. It will donate high density lipoprotein consists of C2, ApoC2 protein and ApoE protein. Now, from high density lipoproteins, the ApoC2 and ApoE will be given to these very low density lipoproteins. Now, the very low lipodensity proteins, which is loaded with B100 protein and which is also loaded with ApoC2 protein and which is also loaded with ApoE protein. Now, this entire structure is called matured VLDL. This entire structure will be called as matured VLDL. Now, whenever this matured VLDL is present in the bloodstream, this ApoC2 is there. No? This ApoC2 enzyme will be acted on the head of this lipoprotein lipase. Will be acted on ApoC2. This ApoC2 will be acted on head of this lipoprotein lipase and will activate this lipoprotein lipase. Now, whenever this C2 will activate this lipoprotein lipase, now let us consider this is lipoprotein lipase. Now, these very low density lipoproteins will be rolling in the bloodstream and will reach this lipoprotein lipase, and there will be digestion of this very low density lipoproteins, and ultimately from here triacylglycerols will be digested. From triacylglycerols, one fatty acid will be digested and it forms diacylglycerols. From diacylglycerols, one more fatty acid will be loosed and it forms monoacylglycerol. From monoacylglycerols, there will be removal of one more fatty acids and results in formation of glycerols. Now, from triacylglycerols, here glycerols will be digested. And ultimately cholesterol esters also digested. Cholesterol esters will also get digested. Now, let us consider these this is glycerol molecule and 3 fatty acids together is called triacylglycerol. Now, this glycerol along with 2 fatty acids is called diacylglycerol. Glycerol along with 1 fatty acid is called monoacylglycerol. Now, only this circular is called glycerol, and only this fatty acid, this structure is called only fatty acid. Now, whenever this matured very low lipodensity protein will be reached the lipoprotein lipase, the triacylglycerols will get digested and cholesterol esters will get digested. That is 80% of triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters will get digested here. That is 80%. 80% will get digested here, and remaining, it consists of It consists of B100, and from here, after digestion of these triglycerols and cholesterol esters, this ApoC2 will be again given back to this high density lipoproteins. Now this C2 will be given back to this high density lipoproteins, and they forget to give ApoE protein. Now this ApoE will be located here only. Only ApoC2 protein will be given back to this high density lipoproteins, whereas ApoE will be remained here only. Now this lipoprotein along with ApoE, which is digested from the very low density lipoprotein, is called intermediate density lipoprotein, IDL. This is intermediate lipodensity protein. Now this intermediate lipodensity protein consists of phospholipids and some amount of triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters and B100 protein and ApoE protein, and will be resulted in the bloodstream. Now this intermediate density lipoprotein, which is formed in the bloodstream, again will go back to the liver. They will again go back to the liver. They again go back to the liver. This intermediate density lipoprotein will again go back to the liver. Now inside the liver it consists of hepatocytes. Let us consider this is one hepatocyte, and this intermediate density lipoprotein consists of ApoE now. So as a result, this on surface of hepatocytes there is a special receptor that is called ApoE receptors. This is ApoE receptors. Now this intermediate density lipoprotein, which is loaded with E protein, will get sticked here. It will be sticked here, and remaining amount of, and it also consists of ApoB100. Also consists of B100 protein. Now this which is attached to this ApoE receptor, then triacylglycerols, which are 20% remaining, and cholesterol esters will get digested here. Now in case of there is any default in this ApoE receptors, now and it skips this ApoE receptors and these intermediate density proteins, they may scroll away these hepatocytes and they may reach another hepatocytes. Now on another hepatocytes there is one more. Let us consider this is another hepatocytes. Now on surface of hepatocytes there is one more special receptor. This special receptor is called, or this special protein is called hepatic lipase, which is attached to the hepatocytes, which is called hepatolipase. Now this hepatolipase, this intermediate density lipoprotein, which is reached to this hepatocytes and will react to this hepatic lipase. It consists of B100 and ApoE. Now whenever it reaches to the hepatic lipase, and ultimately there will be digestion of triacylglycerols and intermediate density lipoproteins. Now here with the help of hepatic lipase they will undergo the digestion process. Now here the ApoE will get ApoE and ApoE protein and B100 protein will be attached here. Now, so this remaining here 80% will be digested, and here remaining some part of triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters will get digested with the help of hepatic lipase. Now, from this liver again they are transported back. They are transported back into the bloodstream. Now, it consists of phospholipids and some amount of triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters, and which is loaded with B100, and this E protein which is attached to here will be given back to these high density lipoproteins. Now, E will be removed from the surface of these lipoproteins. Now, these lipoproteins, which consist of B100 proteins, which are synthesized from the liver after the digestion of through the hepatic lipase, is called low density lipoproteins. Low density lipoproteins, and will get acted on. Again, it will acted on lipoprotein lipase. And will get digested here. Now, the fatty acids which are released here, that is glycerols and cholesterol. From glycerols, it consists of fatty acids. The fatty acids will be released here. These fatty acids which are released will be entered into the adipose tissues. Let us consider these are the fatty acids which are released here in this way, and these fatty acids will be stored for the energy purpose in the adipose tissue. In this way, very low lipodensity proteins will get digested. This is the metabolism of very low density lipoproteins, and in the same way chylomicrons will also get digested. Let us discuss the digestion of chylomicrons. Now, these are the chylomicrons which are loaded with B48 protein and synthesized from the gastrointestinal tract. And inside consists of triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters, and which is loaded with B48 protein. Now, this B48 which is loaded with B48 and synthesized from the gastrointestinal tract and will be released into the bloodstream, and this entire structure is immature chylomicron. This is immature chylomicron. They cannot act on the lipoprotein lipase. Now, from HDL, that is high density lipoproteins, they will take ApoC2, that is ApoC2, and same ApoE. Now, as we know that there is a lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase is an enzyme which is present on endothelial cells of blood vessels, and this ApoC2 will activate the head of this. They will activate the head of this lipoprotein lipase and ultimately results in digestion, and they will get converted into fatty cholesterol esters, and triacylglycerols will get digested here, and the remaining part will be only 20% of triacylglycerols will be remaining, and 20% of cholesterol esters will be remaining, and from here it is digested by lipoprotein lipase. Is digested by lipoprotein lipase, and remaining from here the ApoC2 will be given back to these high density lipoproteins, but ApoE will be still attached here. ApoE along with ApoB48. Now the chylomicron, which is loaded with B48 and ApoE protein, which is formed after the digestion through the lipoprotein lipase, is called remnant chylomicron. Remnant chylomicron. This is called remnant chylomicron. Now this remnant chylomicron will be entered back into the liver. They will be entered back into the liver, and there is also receptors of same. There is receptors of chylomicron, and they will get attached here, and they undergoes digestion process. In case there is any obstruction here, they will reach the site of hepatic lipase. They will reach the receptor of hepatic lipase, and here the digestion will be takes place. Here the digestion will be takes place, and from here again it will be given back to the bloodstream. Now when it is given back to the bloodstream, it consists of phospholipids and some part of triacylglycerols and cholesterol esters, and from here when it is again back to the bloodstream, again the ApoE will be given back to these cholesterol esters. ApoE will be given back to these high density lipoproteins, and only it consists of B48. Now whenever this is present in the bloodstream, again it will be acted upon lipoprotein lipase. And there will be cutting of this dilution of this lipoprotein lipase, and results in fatty acid, production of fatty acids and cholesterols and esters, and they will be reached to this adipose tissue, and there will be storage of these fatty acids for the synthesis of energy process. In this way, the lipoproteins will get digested in the bloodstream and adipose tissue and etc. This is about lipoprotein metabolism, and in our next class let us discuss about abnormalities in lipoproteinemias.